What's up guys, my name is Ace, and next week we'll be getting into the final stage of Season 2 of Battlefield 6. Although with this stage, it doesn't appear we're really getting a whole lot in terms of gameplay content. Like sure, we're getting the LTV, a new vehicle, as well as a machete, a new melee weapon. And then on top of that, there is going to be a new limited time mode called Operation Augur. But unless they somehow surprise us, there's no new guns or maps or anything coming to the game. However, recently we did get some leaks regarding Season 3 and some of the content we can expect for that, and that's what I wanted to share and talk about in today's video. Now, the first leak is also something that's been officially confirmed for a while now. This is what I would refer to as a reimagining of an old map, Golmud Railway from Battlefield 4. And the reason I call it a reimagining rather than a remaster is we've actually seen some leaked gameplay from Battlefield Labs. It has been popping up on YouTube, and I'm sure if you searched a little bit, you could find some of those gameplays to look at. But with this, while the general structure of Golmud Railway is still there from the original Battlefield 4 map, after seeing some gameplay of it, it is very clear that they've done a lot of tweaking here to the point where it's mainly just inspired by Golmud. There is so much more cover. It looks like it's going to be a much more infantry-friendly map, while still being quite open, and relative to the other maps in Battlefield 6, it is probably still going to be quite a vehicle-heavy map. But I'm actually really liking the looks of this. When I first heard they were bringing Golmud back, I was a little surprised, since I really didn't like that map in Battlefield 4. As somebody that's not really a big vehicle guy, I prefer infantry combat. That map was awful for infantry combat, in my experience at least, unless you just wanted to play engineer and counter the vehicles that were all over the place, or perhaps if you wanted to snipe. But that is the first map, and again, they've been officially talking about this for a while now, so much so that many people expected it to be coming with Season 2, but they were clear that it was going to be coming in future seasons beyond Season 2, and it seems quite obvious that that'll be coming for Season 3. But then on top of that, the rest of these leaks are coming from Temporeal, who is a data miner. So all of this is coming direct from the code of the game. However, of course, with data mines, just keep in mind, none of this is officially guaranteed, especially not for Season 3. There's no guarantee of a timeline for release. And also, there's no guarantee they're even going to be releasing everything that is data mined. Sometimes there's just like leftover code or something they started working on but ended up scrapping and is still just kind of lingering around in the code. It seems unlikely in this case since these are all newer additions. But I just wanted to point out that none of this is 100% guaranteed. And another note on that, even if this is all perfectly accurate, it's not necessarily a comprehensive list of every item we're going to be seeing for the next season. So it is very possible we'll be seeing even more than what I mentioned in today's video. But for another map we're expecting for Season 3 based on these data mines, we have Plaza, which is apparently inspired by Battlefield 3's Grand Bazaar. So once again, I'm curious to see just how much of a change they are going to be making to this, if it's just inspired by rather than a remaster. But in either case, that would be a much more tight, close quarters sort of a map, much more infantry focused as well. And assuming that's true, I kind of like the balance there, where we get the big, open, vehicle-heavy map that's at least a little more infantry-friendly than the previous one with Golmud, and then with Grand Bazaar returning, or a map at least inspired by that, it would be much more like tight alleyways and close quarters infantry combat. And then finally, there is also a data mine for a map called Isolated. However, with this in the data mine, it said there's no information available on this. But in saying that, I did a little bit more digging, and some other people that claim to be data miners, although they don't have the same track record as Temporeal, they've claimed that they found some more information on this. And apparently, this map is going to be featuring a lot of naval combat, including the introduction of the jet ski to the game. So apparently, it's going to be a bunch of isolated islands with lots of water in between, of course. And assuming that's true, I think this would be a good addition as well, just to add some more depth to the overall gameplay experience with Battlefield 6. Because at the moment, at least for multiplayer, there's just no naval combat in the game. So it'd be nice to have just that extra layer and a different experience compared to all of the current maps and experiences that we have in the game. Now, unfortunately, since it appears that Isolated is in quite an early state, I think it's very possible that this is actually going to be a Season 4 map rather than a Season 3 map. I hope I'm wrong on that. I really hope we're getting 3 maps with Season 3 rather than 2 like we got with Season 2, because those 2 maps in Season 2 just really didn't feel like enough for many people out there. It was a common complaint with this season, and a complaint I had as well. Like 3, I think, would be a reasonable map count, considering how long the seasons are. So I am crossing my fingers on Isolated for Season 3, but I'm also not going to hold my breath on that. And that's it for the current leaked maps coming to Battlefield 6. Next, let's talk about weapons that are likely coming for Season 3. And the first one we've got some leaked gameplay of as well that is currently being tested in Battlefield Labs. This is the M16A3, although in game it looks like it's actually stated as the M16A4. Either way, it does appear this is going to be full auto by default. At least it will likely have a toggle to a burst mode if I had to guess. And based on what I've seen from some leaked screenshots at least, it looks like it's going to have a rate of fire of 771 rounds per minute, and it'll be a 4-shot kill in its maximum damage range. Now, after that, it looks like we're also going to be getting a new bolt-action sniper rifle, and this is the L115A3. Another one that's a little bit confusing to see is we may be seeing an RPK-74M, and your first thought might be, why? We already have an RPK in the game. And it is a little bit strange that they'd have two RPKs, but this would be the smaller caliber version, the 545x39, rather than the 762x39. So I would anticipate this is going to be more accurate than the current RPK that we have in the game, but with a lower damage value. And then finally, for new weapons we're expecting to see, likely in Season 3, we have an SMG, the PP19 Vitesse. So that's 4 primary weapons leaked in total. And then on top of that, it looks like Recon is getting yet another new gadget called the Mobile Jammer. There's also a couple leaked battle pickups, Artillery Strike, as well as Smokescreen. And then for Battle Royale, it looks like there's going to be a Jag-M Strike call-in. So that's definitely interesting that the leaked gadget is for the Recon class, because we just got a Recon gadget with the previous season. In either case, let's move on to game modes, and there's a few game modes that were leaked here as well. The first one is Obliteration, where teams must secure a bomb to arm and destroy the enemy MCOM stations, and you might recognize this from Battlefield 4. So with that, there's just one bomb that spawns in, and you're fighting over that bomb. Its location is always going to be transmitted to everybody in real time, and so once you pick it up, the enemies will be able to track you, and you have to go and try to plant that bomb and destroy the MCOM. Next, we have one called Infiltration, and with this, it's a 2-phase infiltration mode where you collect and hunt, and it involves high-value targets. And then finally, a new gauntlet mode was leaked called Alliances, and we don't really have any details on that at this point. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for the current data mine leaks for Season 3, or at least most of this is expected in Season 3. And overall, it seems like a good start, at least. The big thing I think that's up in the air right now that is definitely going to affect how much interest and hype will be surrounding this season is, are we getting all 3 of the maps that have been data mined, or just 2 of them? And if we are just getting the 2, neither of them are technically like brand new maps. They're at least inspired by older maps from Battlefield. So it would be interesting to see the reception to that as well. I suspect if that is the case and we're just getting those 2 maps, there's going to be a lot of backlash coming their way. So again, I am really hoping that isolated map is actually going to be for Season 3, but again, I'm not holding my breath on that. Since there isn't a ton of information available, it does seem that it's likely earlier in development, and therefore it wouldn't surprise me at all if that ends up being a Season 4 map. Another thing I want to point out is at this point, there weren't any leaked attachments, and that's something that I'm expecting to see with the next season. Like, that seems like it's something they're planning on releasing steadily over time, and I really hope it is, because with the attachments they added with Season 2, especially with the Nightfall event, like the Violet Laser and the Flash Compensator, those actually made things quite a bit more interesting when creating new builds. And in my opinion, at least, new attachments have the potential to have a much greater impact on the overall gameplay experience than just a new weapon, because they can be used on all of the existing guns in the game, and it can change how you build the existing guns and how they perform in your hands. So that's something I'm definitely expecting as well, and that serves as a reminder that the things I talked about today aren't necessarily a comprehensive list of literally every item we're going to be getting for Season 3. It's just a handful of things that have been leaked so far. And with that in mind, I am curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Based on what we've seen leaked so far, and if you guys have seen some of the Gold Mud Railway gameplay, how are you feeling about how Season 3 appears to be shaping up so far? Are you guys generally excited for it, or maybe not so much? If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.